Hey guys, we are still in third world Brexit Britain, and welcome to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you for all of your messages, and a special thank you to everybody who has signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with everyone that has signed up, so thank you so much for that. I'll go through all of your messages, I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. So, as I said, we're still in Brexit third world Britain because the fuel prices are still horrendous. But we'll get onto that in a little while, right? So, you know, the Labour conference, as per normal, right? Labour has to shoot itself in the foot again, right? They just form their circle and they just start firing at each other. Yesterday they had all the nonsense about a cervix and and some other different nonsense. Do you know what I mean, right? And you think to yourself, why do you get caught up in all this bullshit? Because you see, come the next election, right? Because of that, what's going to happen is they say, oh, well, you'll have builders who are saying, oh, well, I can't vote for Labour because they're too woke. Too woke. You know what gets me, right? Do you know what actual meaning of woke? Do you know what woke actually is? Just simply means that you care about other people's feelings. That's it. Do you know what I mean? It just simply means you care about other people's feelings and you're respectful to everybody. Do you know what I mean? Whether someone wants to, whether a man wants to call himself a girl and a girl, a woman, or a woman wants to call themselves a man. Do you know what I mean? It's just simple. You just respect everybody's feelings. That's as simple as it is. Do you know what I mean? And that is what woke is. Do you know what I mean? Just basically being nice. Do you know what I mean? So anytime I hear them say, oh, and oh God, what's his name? Andrew Neil. He's I'm taking out a war on woke. He just got booted off of that GB News a couple of weeks ago, whatever. I haven't spoke about it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's their new far right racist station. Right, and he's just been. I'm sure he started it, right, and next thing he's been booted off it after he was saying, oh, I'm taking. There's a war on woke, and you think, what? There's a war on people being nice, really? Because that's who the right wing are. The right wing, none of them are nice, none of them, because as I said, they've got a war on woke, just being nice. Do you know what I mean? So basically, they expect everybody to be nasty to everybody else. Do you know what I mean? Kick a person in a wheelchair, kick their wheelchair over. Do you know what I mean? This is the type of politics these guys enjoy. They enjoy seeing people in poverty, knowing that this country, right, one of the first world countries. I say that now, right, knowing that the flipping Germans, right, had like a national health service, right, from 18 oh God, what is it, 1883, something like that. The Germans was just in there from just shows you the difference. You know what I mean, how people want to look after their populations. You know what I mean, the Germans was in there they had the first. I always thought that Britain had the first national health service, but I was sadly mistaken. The blinking Germans again. Right, so yeah, so anyway, remember 66? So we're still living on that. so yeah, so the Labour Party now, yeah, I mean, they're just just completely shoot themselves in the foot all the time. Right, so now we've got Andy McDonald, right, has just resigned out of the shadow cabinet, right, and said that Keir Starmer's running that shit and it's too divided, right? Because there's a left and a right, there's a left and a right thing in the Labour Party. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why the right of the Labour Party don't go over to the Conservatives. Because these guys are they're red conservatives, really. So and if they'd done that, right, and they left the Labour Party, right, to the real left wing, right, to run the Labour Party, right, we would be so much better off, because I think people are far too confused. Do you know what I mean? With where the Labour Party sit and where the Tories sit. Do you know what I mean? Right now you've got the Tories, right, in, right? You know, and a lot of their actions, yeah, are like social. A lot of their actions like socialism, the thing what most of them hate the most. But you know, you give people furlough money, right? That right there is socialism. Do you know what I mean, right? So and then you give your friend, you give your friends and your family 37 billion pounds, a share in 37 billion pounds. Again, that's socialism, just for a few though. Just for a few people that bit of socialism is for. But they did spread the money out though, right, to all their friends and their family. It's only 37 billion. I mean, what the hell should we worry about that for? Do you know what I mean? We need to just concern ourselves with the £20 a week they're taking off the lowest earners in this country, right? So Andy McDonald, yeah, has quit the shadow cabinet because he says that they've said to him that he's not allowed to argue for a £15 an hour minimum wage, right? So you see, that's what the left of the party think. The left of the party think, yeah, that you working class people, right, are worth £15 an hour minimum, right? I'm sure the Tories they think you're worth, I think it's about £8.74 minimum. So I fully understand, yeah, why working class people would be like, yeah, actually the Tories are better off for us. Right? Now, I know, right, that a £15 minimum wage, yeah, is, it's high. It's a good wage. It's a good wage for people to be getting, of course, right? And I think that everyone should be able to get that type of money, right? And because you've got like a lot of these company owners, yeah, hoarding billions of pounds, right? So if you own a company, right, and you're a billionaire, right, and any of your staff are taking universal credits or tax credits, right, then that situation shouldn't be allowed. If you're a billionaire, right, even if someone's working for you part time, they should not be on, right, under any circumstances, any type of tax. Right? It's just that's how things should really be. Do you know what I mean? But they just allow I can remember looking at one time one of our big supermarkets, right, rhymes with Lesco, right? They was taking, I think their profits was in the billions, right? But then when they looked into their workers, yeah, their workers was taking was on tax credits into the hundreds of millions. Do you know what I mean? And you just think to yourself, well, that situation shouldn't be able to happen because the government should insist. You know what? Everyone gets a decent wage, yeah, before any shareholders are paid anything. All your workers need to be paid a decent wage before that happens. Do you know what I mean? I know this is not really going to work for small companies. Do you know what I mean? I know that. Do you know what I mean? But for those, especially for those bigger companies, right? Especially when they're billions in profit, right? They should be made to make sure that all of their workers are looked after properly, and that's what the left of the Labour Party are insisting on, right? Hence why you've got people like Dawn Butler, who's not in the shadow cabinet because obviously she's too progressive for people like Starmer. Do you know what I mean? Starmer doesn't think that the working class are worth £15 an hour. So he's told Andy McDonald that he needs to argue against that. Do you know what I mean? And Andy McDonald has refused to argue against that. So so he said, well, you know what, I'm out. That's it. I'm gone. I'm leaving the building. Do you know what I mean? So as I said, anytime the Labour conference come round, just get ready for them to start shooting themselves in the foot. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you know. So it's just the way. It's always been the way how Labour are always. And now we've got Grant Shapps, yeah, who's blaming the haulage companies, right, for the present HGV drivers, right, for all of the nonsense what's going on with them. He's got the. See, these people, yeah, these people have got no shame. They've got no shame at all. He just said, you know what? Yeah, no, it's their fault. Down to them. You know, Therefore, down to them, right? And all of this, yeah, they believe me, they knew about all of this, right? Because you know what, yeah, you can forget Yellowhammer. You can forget Yellowhammer. Yellowhammer's late. Yellowhammer is late to the party, right? Because right, the Transport Select Committee warned them a few months after the Brexit vote in 2016, right, that this could happen, shortage of HGV drivers because Britain will be an unattractive place to work in 2016. Okay, so these people knew everything. They knew exactly what was going on, right? Because they was warned by the Transport Select Committee, right? But still, right, at the level of incompetence, right, from these guys, right, we've never had a government that has had this level of incompetence, right? So the level of incompetence from these guys, right, is right, it's on some next level, right? Because these guys was warned, they knew that this was going to happen. And you know something? The problem is, yeah, none of them, right, have got the ability, right, to have done something about it. None of them have. None of them have. Right. So for the last 6 years, right, the thing what they should have been doing was probably training up drivers. Right, making sure that they've got enough HGV drivers, making sure HGV drivers, their work conditions are much better, as they've seen in the EU, their conditions are much better. So they should have made sure over the last 2016 was 6 years ago now, right? So they've had over half a decade, right, to prepare for this. And does it look like they're prepared for this? I mean, if you're sitting down, right, because today is Tuesday, right, and the petrol crisis started like last week, Thursday, right? So if you're still sat down in a petrol queue today, waiting to get petrol or diesel for your car or your van, right, because you've got to go out, you've got to go and do some carpentry work, right, or you're a carer, right, or you're a doctor, you're a police officer, need to get to work. You're sat in a queue now. Do you think, right, that these guys have prepared for this? Right, they've just been whistling the wind, hoping that everything would be okay. Here's the thing, right? When you're in government, yeah, you can't just hope everything's gonna be okay, right? The shit is too serious for that, right? You have to be the person to get things done. That's down to you to get things done. Right? This shambles of a government, right, that you Brexiters have imposed on us, right? I wonder if you guys, right, are really happy with the government, right? And Boris Johnson seems to be as popular as ever, as popular as ever, right? Oh, he's doing his best. You know something? I don't want a prime minister to do his best, right? A child does his best. Right, right. A prime minister succeeds. Not do your best, right? Because you know what, your best is not good enough if that's the case, and you need to stand the fuck over and let somebody else take over. If that's your best, right? So we've got another train line, right? Transport Secretary, Grant Chaps again. We've got another train line, right, that has been taken back by the government. Southeastern. £25 million gone missing somewhere along the line. It works, isn't it? Because we all can lose that type of money. Right? 25 mils. It's just like it was over there a minute ago and it's gone. Don't know where it is. You see? But this is what happens here when you allow you allow these private companies here to run your train lines and that shit, right? Because train lines, they're like gold mine, right? This is the thing with these things. They're a gold mine, right? Plus you're getting subsidies as well from the government for running the train line for them, because they're saying to you, thank you so much for running this train line, and Here's a load of money as well to go with to go with the train line that you're running. And you know what you can do? You can take all that profits and everything. You could just give it all to your shareholders. Right? Don't worry about putting it back into the country, or or improving the railway lines or anything like that. Don't worry about that. Right? You just nice yourself up at night and the shareholders. But this is what happens in this country. Do you know what I mean? They sold off everything, sold off, right? So because everything's sold off, right, people can take real liberties. If you run the train line, some of these things can be taking a couple of £1 million a day. Do you know what I mean? So you get a really busy one, because remember, everyone's, you look on the train, yeah, and there's people on there, paying season tickets up to £10,000. Do you know what I mean? Whoa. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, that's how shit is. We have the most expensive train lines in the world. That's just and that was before Brexit Britain. So imagine after Brexit Britain now. Do you know what I mean? What's going to happen? 'Cause I'm sure a lot of them trains just run on diesel, right? The companies they're taking the piss with the prices as well. They're really just taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? With the fuel cost. I see one went up from, I think it went up from 134, right? And as the people was in the queue, the people in the station just put it up to 151. Wow, they done that while the people was in the queue waiting to get their fuel. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, but I mean, who wouldn't profiteer? I mean, we're running this country by all private industry, so why wouldn't they all profiteer? Because I mean, that's what private companies are there for, right? So speaking of the fuel crisis, right? A woman was seen putting petrol into a carrier bag. Now, can I just say, yeah, that this shit is very, very, very dangerous, right? You shouldn't put petrol in anything, yeah, apart from your car, or like, a proper petrol container. Right? They got the green, they've got the green petrol cans, right? The green jerry can or the red jerry can, or whatever color you want, right? But just make sure that you use a proper container. One woman, I saw a video of one woman. Yeah, she went in the shop and she bought some bottles of water. Water. Right? She took the water and she poured it into the bin that's next to the petrol pump, and then she filled the two bottles, right, with petrol. Right, so I think that 1.5 liters each. Do you know what I mean? This is like, when you're seeing stuff like that, you think, wow, this is some serious. Because, like, water bottles, right? They're not designed to hold petrol, right? And if that's spilled in the back of her car, which shaking about in the back of a car, yeah, water bottles, they can, with petrol, they're going to be a lot easier to, and the petrol's, petrol it's a substance that's like, it's a very, very, it's probably one of the world's most dangerous. Because just the fumes alone can go up. Just the fumes, right? So for people to be putting petrol in carrier bags, right, and in water bottles, my God, what have we come to, right? Britain is closing down. If the petrol crisis doesn't stop, right, Britain is closing down, right? It's shutting. This, this is this, right, is the Johnsonian era, right? Just like, I really hope, yeah, that you Brexiters, right? There's a special place in hell, right, for all you people who voted for Boris Johnson, right? When the EU told us, right, there's no cherry picking, and we still decided, no, 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 no. We're British and we're exceptional, and because of that, right, the EU will jump through hoops. They ain't jumped through no hoops yet. Right? In fact, right, they're still at the same place as they was from the beginning of the negotiations. And what does that say? That says, yeah, that they didn't need us as much as we needed them, right? And then, right, you've got so Brexit now, right? So you've got another company who's just gone, because it's actually because of the, I believe it's because of the fuel shortage why this company has just, do you know what I mean? But obviously, if they're importing and exporting things into the EU, then that would give them a further problem, right? But EVCL chill, right, from Derby. Right, I think they've just had to call in the official receiver. Do you know what I mean? So I think they've got maybe four or 500 staff up there. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, I had to look to see how Derby voted in the referendum, and Derby voted 59.1%, to fuck up their own town. You bunch of racist fools. Right? And the thing is in Derby, yeah, I'm sure they've got, I think, Toyota and Rolls Royce. I think, right? So I think, I'm not sure. I can't be too certain about that, right? But talk about voting, right, for your own fucking demise, right? How racist is Derby? Derby is 51.9% racist. Jesus Christ, man! Seriously, you people are seriously. There's something seriously wrong with you people, right? You've got all these industries, right, who rely on the EU, right, and you still was stupid enough to vote for your own demise. How stupid do you feel right now? Right now, how stupid do you feel? Especially you start from EVCL chill. If you voted for Brexit, right, how stupid do you feel? Because I know you must feel really, really stupid right about now. And you know what? If you voted for this, it serves you the fuck right if you've just lost your job with that company. Because I don't understand, right, how the hell anybody can convince you, right, to vote for something that's going to lose your own freedom of movement and could possibly lose your own fucking job. Right? How stupid have you got to have been, right? One of your, because that's 400 or 500 workers. That's got to be one of our main employers in that area, right? That's it's good. It's quite a big employer. Do you know what I mean? Because that's that's up to what, 400 or 500 families, right, that are relying on that company. Do you know what I mean? And you lot have gone and voted 51.9%. It's not the highest. We've seen higher, right? But it is pretty fucking high. Do you know what I mean? You've gone way above the national average. National average is 52%. Do you know what I mean? Right? And you've gone, do you know what I mean? You're 59.1. Right? So if your town, if Derby, Derby is just like, a whole heap of ridiculous people up there, do you know what I mean? Who just voted against your own interest. And you know something? If all of this, you look around the country, right, and this is your fault, right? 59.1%. Seriously, you guys deserve everything you're fucking getting. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribbs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.